Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and I'm finally going to be finishing up the TEN56 EP Downer Part 2 with the last track on it, which is called Ender. I have listened to the rest of the EP. I did the singles I did videos for, and then I believe Saiko was the track that came out with the EP that I did on that day. I've listened to the rest of the songs that weren't singles in my own time, except Ender, which I have reserved for this video. So that is where I'm at with the EP. I have been loving it. One of my favorites of January so far. Maybe February by the time I post this, but this is still January now. So one of my favorites of this month, probably my favorite. There's not been a ton going on, but still this will remain on rotation. My favorite track is Yenta. With all that being said, I'm going to link the promotional links and such. There's not a video for Ender, but the promotional links for TEN56, any support links for the EP itself, all in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we're going to get straight into it. Oh. They have such a thundering sound associated for them, for me at least. Oh.
Cut the cackle on everybody else. Takes a trip around the inside of my head. Are you fucking blind?
Okay.
Nothing can bring me a smile. No kids, no life. Quick and grit. I've been on. You feel no pain.
Okay, bring that melody into it.
Damn, watch and see what pain is. Then take a look. Damn, dip in the fucking knife.
Yeah, I like that.
So let's talk about
just ended on me like that. TEN56 Ender. Let's discuss. So this is, I think, a pretty solid end to the EP. I do think the beginning of the EP is probably my favorite because, you know, it's going to be hard to beat like Yenta, Tramadol, RLS. That's a very solid beginning. And then I think when it comes to Saiko is very strong as well. It was a great track, I think, to do the music video with the drop of the EP. But as we get into like Intruder, Mask, Ender, I think those will be tracks that grow on me a little bit more, especially this one. But this is my favorite of those three because it has like that, like I said, all over, like across the board when it comes to 1056, they have like that thundering sound. It's part of just how they are. But with this, that's kind of incorporated in like the slower, darker closing of the EP type of feel. Some of the electronics used too, like that bass that you get, that's so like, it's very simple, especially compared to some of the other moments in this, like towards the beginning or middle of this EP. But it has still like the redeeming qualities, or some of the redeeming qualities from those songs, that it still ties it together well with the rest of it, if that makes sense. It obviously still has some huge vocal moments as well. I think like across the EP, this has some very impressive, and I guess like I shouldn't say across the EP either, because I think that's been the case since they started up this project with 1056. I think Aaron getting to work with 1056 in this environment or with this sound has been more of what he was wanting to do prior. So it seems like they're kind of exploring what that looks like, and some of it is just so like the longer screams and stuff like that. I love to hear that, especially on a track like this, where some of the moments were like a bit slower, and it did have an abrupt ending for me. It felt like to be the second part, like Downer Part 1, Downer Part 2, and then to end like that, it was a little bit of like a, like, you know, something I would put in my notes, like as a con, I think, for me. I think a nice ending to something like this rather than something abrupt like that is more preferred. But that's a very small thing to pick apart. And also with stuff that's a bit chaotic like this EP, I would say it takes a bit more time for me to process. So there are moments in this, obviously, I'm probably missing, but that, like, the electronic presence in this one feels much different than the context of like the other songs, which I think they've done a few times. And RLS is like a very different sound. It's almost like it widened their, you know, their range for sure, and showed people, which I think in some of the outros and stuff on Downer Part 1, that was indicated a bit, but RLS was them sort of like capitalizing on that to me. So this goes a few different places, nothing too crazy out of the box for 1056 other than RLS sort of tapping into some of the, like, I feel like we got previewed for that prior to this coming out. So what I'm talking about is some of the outros, or some of even like the middle of the song, like a little bit of a break that leans more into that. I don't want to say the electronics, because RLS feels very much like, I mentioned in my video that it kind of gave me like Lil Peep vibes, and that's very different from, I think, the majority of what I would use to describe 1056. So I think it's a lot to process in one go. Like, it's hard for me to now say, okay, I've heard this one song, like, let me talk about the full EP, because they are pretty chaotic, and there are so many moments that kind of make you go like that vocally with it. I think that this is just a great project for Aaron to be involved in as well. So it seems like doing what they want to do. My only thing with this song would be the abrupt ending, and it being the closing track. I think it should have done a little bit more justice to the rest of the EP, but this will be something that stays on rotation for me for a while. Let me know what you thought in the comments. In terms of favorite songs, Yenta is going to be really difficult to beat. There's something about some of those lines that are just like, they're so tough, and like the flow of them, like, I never wanted to fuck with you bitches, like that is a part that has stuck out to me since the very first time that I heard that song. So that's gonna remain bar for me, but I think this is kind of, it shows a little bit of expansion on the sounds that they laid out for us as they started the project, which is exciting. And going forward, I think that will continue to be the case. Maybe 1 and 2 puts out the roadmap for them to do like a full release next time or something, but who knows what we will see. I will link all of their social media and stuff in the description. Let me know what your favorite song off of the EP Downer Part 2 was, because I already told you mine. Other than that, you can also find my link tree in the description, and that will have the Patreon link, which I've rolled out fairly recently, and it's been going very well. I'd like to thank everybody who has signed up or even taken time to check out what I'm doing on there. It's been a really great reception, and I'm having a lot of fun working on all of that content. You can also find the link tree, or in the link tree, the Discord server invite, which is where the community for my YouTube channel is based. We've got a lot of really wonderful people in there, music-related conversation unrelated to music as well, just a community of people who love talking about music. So if you're interested in coming and check that out, that will be there, as well as any link that you may need related to my YouTube channel. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.